5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right. It is Happy Friday. What's happening, people? Friday, man. It's so good. I'm glad it's here. I don't know why, even when I'm not working a normal job, it just feels like it's the weekend. Good things to be eaten and food to be found and just music to be played. And I got all of the above going on this weekend, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. I hope whatever you're doing, it's fun, it's affordable, fat-free, gluten-free. I'm going to go through the quick news. Let me bring Mandy on here and tell her the crazy stuff of the day. Here we are. Lovely
nice.
Mandy. How are you, baby?
Happy Friday.
Absolutely. It's a good Friday. It's a good feeling. I know you've been really working hard, so.
Oh, I feel like I've been in a tornado. Like, seriously.
Man.
I'm sure plenty of people out there feel like that. But
it happens. At least you're not on the turnpike. Could you turn down your monitor a little bit? I hear myself. Can you turn down the monitor a little bit on your end?
Yep.
I hear myself, my big mouth. So, at any rate, today we've got a couple of great guests. I have Warren Zevon's son Jordan, who is we're going to be talking about the whole Hall of Fame and the fiasco and all the myths and legends that surround the whole thing, and hopefully we can get some more of his friends on the, to come, get our friends rather to go. I'm sorry, I muddled.
Right.
I'm listening to that thing. All right, well, we've also got Memphis Gold, killer blues man, living legend, and I mean, I got a track to play which is just exceptional, and we'll put that up when Memphis comes on. So, what have you been up to? You have a new gig coming up, I guess. I see in April.
Yup. April 8th, Tapped in Middletown, New York. It's going to be a big party. Huge.
Great.
Yep. Been
Excellent.
working on some new tunes.
Excellent.
So that's what's up.
Well, that's always good to have up. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I think, why not, since we got limited time, let's drag Jordan into this fray and let's find out what's going on with the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
I'm going to mute you between talking. For everybody, we're just having some fuzz. I don't know. It's Putin. There, it's gone.
I muted
myself. You muted yourself. Okay. See you in a minute. Good morning or good afternoon, Jordan.
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm excellent. Pleasure to have you here. I really appreciate you spending some time, and I'm looking forward to talking about your dad.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So what have you been up to other than managing the Zevon stuff? Have you got music that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm always making music. I need to get my butt in gear and put something out again, but I'm always writing, and I've done some scoring and
Excellent
stuff like that. And I have a T-shirt shop. I have all
right.
kinds of little projects in the work.
Cool. Well, hell, I have to come out and find out what you do with T-shirts next time I'm in LA, man. Maybe
there you go.
You might be the guy. I don't know.
Well, I don't have a brick and mortar. I'm one of those.
That's okay.
people.
We don't need brick and
Yeah.
mortar, but Anyhow, it's the whole new frontier. It's like me. I'm sitting here. We're talking. It's like when we were kids. This was comic book shit. I mean.
Oh God.
The internet.
All the time.
Putting your iWatch on and calling someone. It's mind-boggling, and I love it.
Yeah, the iPhone alone would have like.
Yeah. You remember there was a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy, and a Coke bottle dropped out of a plane? Well, think about that if you just dropped them an Apple was connected, like to Starlink or something.
Exactly.
It's sort of like when they I've seen the monkeys posing for the various clicking cameras because it's a camera.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Like
It has there's a
like,
commentary on about that on human nature. I think the fact that people are moth driven to the camera flash.
there you go. Everybody wants to be famous.
Yes, yes. Every asshole wants an anthill, I think someone once said. So, what do we got here? A comment about scoring? I hope you score too. All right, there you go. Well, we have some bibliophiles, book people here, I guess. I don't know. So let's talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I've heard all these what appear to maybe be myths and legends. So let's talk. Tell me about the whole history of trying to get Warren in and where we're going with the effort. I have queued up. We can show the audience how easy it is. We have visual aids.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
And I think that'll be helpful. So I leave the floor to you for a moment.
Well, I didn't really do much in the way of campaigning for it because I wouldn't know how to. And I think he's been eligible since '94. So after a while, you just start thinking that it's something that's not going to happen. But this is, and it's been apparent in the fan vote, such a fan-driven
Right.
thing. And I hate to use the word fan because Dad didn't like the word. He liked to use the word customers.
I like that.
So it was very customer driven. There's a Facebook page induct Warren into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that has a ton of members.
Right.
And then over the last, I would say it's really happened over the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that the people who run the Warren Zevon Facebook group
Yes.
allowed me to be an admin so I could post to it. And that was a funny exchange the first time I asked if I could join. And they were like shitting all over
It's
me
funny
because they didn't
because-
know it was me. They're like, yeah, whatever, asshole. I'm like,
right.
I'm taking pictures of like stuff around the house.
Right.
But
That's
I
funny
digress.
because we wanted to get you into the group. I've been in this group for years now, and I'm laughing
Yeah.
because we've talked about it. Hey, why don't we get Jordan? And that's just never really happened. So here you are.
And when it finally did, I get notifications, or I did. I had to finally shut it off. But I would get notifications when people asked to join.
Right.
And there were days when I'd get like 30 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And there were little things like that that kind of happened everywhere where all this momentum was coming. So it was odd how the Hall of Fame nomination almost felt like it was the end of something progressing towards it, but there hadn't been any specific thing.
Right.
So, everybody's been posting for years. What's the deal? How can you not be in? And I don't know what clicked, but something finally clicked.
Well, it's really, I think it's great. The Hall of Fame, I've done my share of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I want to clarify. I feel like I'm talking for you baseball aficionados out there. I've always I've had a certain amount of disdain because just some of the picks they've made over the years. But, everybody's got an opinion. So, I don't know if mine's any more valid than anybody else's. I found at times I'd go, yeah, man, it's good. It's great. But it's like not rock and roll. But I think there's we all have our musical conceits as well. And I myself, as well as anybody else, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't wish that voting on anyone.
Oh, I'm sure.
I wouldn't know where to start, where to stop. I wouldn't know how to limit it.
I never thought of entertainment as a sort of a sport because I was always kind of the kid that got slapped around by the jocks until I got tired of it and, went drummer on them. And so it was kind of a different mindset back when I was growing up. I'm probably, I'm closer to your dad's age than you probably. I'm in my 60s. And it's interesting, though, how it's so changed. And I think that just having the internet, this amazing thing, made it possible for like your dad, where like 20 years ago or 15, people weren't even thinking about it, or they just thought, well, he's not going to get in. I've heard that comment from tons of musicians.
Well,
I heard something about Lorne Michaels didn't like him because of something he did at Saturday Night.
It's Jan.
What
Jan
was
is
it?
Jan Winter apparently. I don't know the story, but that's what people
Okay.
chat about, that they had some kind of beef.
Okay.
Can't
Well,
imagine my dad pissing anybody off, but
I can't even imagine either, but
I guess it's possible.
it happens sometimes. I agree with Toby. You're right. It's not really a competition. In fact, I wanted to get him in just because I think he's one of the coolest songwriters of our time. And hell, man, I used to play his stuff and get the audience. We'd get in fights with him play that Dead Band song. I always wished I'd have met him to tell him the story of like in 1978 or something, playing that on New Year's Eve and having the room just turn into a brawl because we were making fun of Leonard Skinner. It was in Plant City, Florida.
Yeah,
and it was ugly, man.
that'll irk.
Yeah, the
I thought
place had
Toby
blood.
mentioned Fernando. We love Fernando.
Oh yeah, Fernando's badass, definitely. Yeah. So, what do you think? What's the next phase? Like, what are you guys doing for the catalog, or do you shop it? Tell us a little bit about your.
So, I mean, well, first and foremost, the mission is just to keep the controversial fan vote happening.
Yes.
You know, it says that the top 5 are taken into consideration in the final vote. I have no idea how much of that is true. Some people don't want to vote because they think, as we've mentioned, that the whole thing is bullshit.
Right.
But it's pretty extraordinary that out of the, I think it's 14 people that are listed on there, that Dad's at number 3, solid at number 3.
Exactly, and I really will tell you, everybody that I know in my circle of friends, and there's a bunch of them, I'm telling them all, just vote. You know, it's really easy. In fact, for you folks, if you haven't voted yet, get out. Maybe we'll make some stickers that said I voted for Warren, and I'll send a bunch to you.
In the process.
There we go, people. Check it out. It's so simple. Even a drummer can do this. Look, there's Warren looking mighty dapper. Let's see.
And you don't need a password or to give them your name. You just confirm
you
your
just-
email address and you're good to go.
In fact, I'm taking my daily vote here, people. Look at that. All right. It's so easy. Like I said, even a drummer can do it. You can do this at home. It's gluten-free. No pesticides. I don't know. You can't go wrong. So, are you going to be going to the event if he wins?
If it happens, of course, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Go to that big thing. But so I was saying, we get out the fan vote. There's a Record Store Day release of The Wind, which has been completely remastered.
Yes.
And the original recordings and sounds incredible. And yes, eventually that will be on CD and streaming as well.
Excellent.
And there is a Mobile Fidelity recording of Excitable Boy on vinyl and CD. So those are some of the things that were just kind of already happening.
Excellent.
And I'm definitely going to use this momentum to try to get some things to get the attention that they maybe haven't had for a while. There's some stuff that hasn't been put on vinyl yet, and
great.
And we've been digitizing his cassettes lately.
Oh, that's great.
Are, you know, range from like 2 seconds of him playing guitar to stuff that's absolutely mind-blowing.
How many hours, like, do you guess? Is there cassettes? I know how that is. I mean, you probably find, do they all work, or is some of them just
Most
gnarly?
of them were, you know, I'm a Gen Xer, so I can do cassette surgery with the best of them.
Cool, man. That's excellent.
Yeah, I even bought a set of new cassettes from Amazon just to hollow out and put in the old stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, but we found like him opening at the Roxy for someone else before the live album, way before, in like 77 or 8, I think. But there's got to be, at the end of the day, it's going to be like 800 hours worth of stuff. He had a lot of cassettes.
You know, there's a lot of us out there. We'll go and buy it. I mean, a fan of the music's going to want to hear every nugget, especially the people who are rather more obsessed. Not that your dad's audience ever had any obsessed people. But...
Yeah, and it's going to be figuring out the best way to do that. I really try not to take advantage of people. I know that like a lot of the titles have been re-released a bunch of times, and you know, I'd rather that there was one definitive one that was released at the perfect time. But technology changes, things start to sound better. You find new stuff to use as bonus tracks. We've we've encouraged people to share their live recordings on archive.org.
Great.
And I got them taken down, thank God. But there were people on Spotify that were trying to present those as albums or sell them on Amazon. I'm like, don't
Wow.
pay for bootlegs,
No
just go
doubt.
listen. So
Yeah, is that the listing where they have like Burnmore, the shows all over the country, some acoustic, some of them.
there's just tons.
It's like a
tons
ton of
stuff
them.
there.
There's some really good stuff. Some shows
There's
there that
great
were
stuff.
really
Yeah,
great.
that's why it would be releasable, but I'm not gonna put a
Right.
price tag on something that we've got out there for free.
Right.
And the Preludes album was a weird call for me because I know that some of his colleagues who knew him didn't think he'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him privately, and it was always about like the rarities in the box set. He even made a joke where he said, "And then you die, and then there's the box set."
I
I
love
was
it.
recording of it on stage, yeah.
Oh, man.
But I listened to it last night, and I was like, "This is great. These are great songs, and it's a great album, and
Right.
it deserved to be up there." And I've seen Spotify streaming, and there's a couple songs that are like in his top 10
Excellent.
songs, which really kind of like
Well, that validates. It says
validated
people
the
are
whole
listening to and getting it. And I
Yeah.
know you care enough about your dad's legacy, so you're not going to put out just like some families. My girlfriend's involved with a record label. They have a lot of they have a huge catalog,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the disputes that families that are large get into over who, like when you try and get the publishing sorted out, it's just an absolute horror
Oh, I
show.
can't imagine. Luckily, my sister and I get along great.
That's a good
So,
thing.
yeah,
That's cool.
so we don't have any issues with it. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I could put out something like once a month,
Right.
but it's not about could, it's about should.
Right.
And I'm going to look at all the options.
Sure.
Maybe I'll host some kind of podcast where, like a radio show where we play stuff, or
That
there'll
would be
some
great.
kind of streaming library on the site. I'd like people to be able to hear it, but I don't want it to come off as greedy. I just want it to be controlled.
I don't
I
think
want it to be presented nicely and mixed the right
Right.
way. And
Sure. Well, I'm going to just say this. I've never met you before, but you don't seem like the kind of guy who's going to want to do anything like that. You're proud of your dad's legacy, and I think you're probably a great steward of it, and you take it personally. I mean, it's your family. And if it was my dad, I'd be like, have a similar attitude. I think you know what he was thinking as much as anyone, I imagine. And
yeah. And look, there's sometimes where there's things that he wouldn't have liked, but those are the kind of things where you got to say, okay, but you're also a curmudgeon,
yes,
and this is a good thing. But before I leave, I wanted to just address one thing that comes up a lot of people that have this assumption that like he wouldn't have cared about this at all and that he was above it. And I think that's a huge misconception. I think that there's a misinterpretation that that his career was a chosen FU to the mainstream. Like, I'm not going to tour with a band. I'm going to go solo, and I'm going to record at home. Those were financial necessities.
right.
You couldn't
Right.
afford to pay a band and have it pay a decent amount back then.
Sure.
And
It's almost come back that way for so many acts. I mean to interrupt you, but so many bands since COVID. It's down to two people,
yeah, and so he didn't have some like hatred towards being acknowledged. I mean, or winning an award. He didn't.
So that projection on him that many had of this cynicism where he just didn't want anything to do. He wasn't an antisocial person, in other words.
Oh no, he was.
In that thought. What? Oh, he was. But complex
but-
animal,
But the cynicism and everything else, he treated his the reason that he was so prolific and everything is because he had a work ethic.
Right.
He had a very strong work ethic about writing and what he did, and so the reason I think he chose customers is because it was his business.
Right.
He didn't bake cakes. He didn't. He wasn't a cobbler. He was a musician, but it was his lifelong job. And I was talking to, I think it was a Billboard interview, and I said, if you're a plumber, you want to win Plumber of the Year.
Absolutely.
you want to be recognized.
Absolutely.
And whether or not you think the Hall of Fame is bullshit, it's there.
It's
You
one
can't
of the
wish
only
it away,
measuring
and
posts.
I think that he should be in there because I
Yeah.
think that that when you look at that body of work, there's a lot going on there, and I think he's influenced a lot of people.
Yes, and you took the words out of my mouth. That vast expanse of great songs. I mean, this is like, it's American literature at its best, in my opinion. It's just all those songs. I mean, you can just. I have some of your dad's books I bought from over the years from Crystal, and I always enjoy like this is one of my favorites. I happen to have it here. We were talking about him. The Book of Forms. It's a book about doing poetry and and funny because I happen to have a couple of pictures that were included. So here's Dad and a few friends.
Nice.
In his LA apartment, I guess. Oh, John Waite and him.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess this was his pad just hanging out. I don't know. George Drool's sleeping on the couch drooling. I don't know. George, if you're out there, man, we're going to have to come by and see you and drag you back on the show.
Oh, yeah. He's
out there in the middle of the desert, man. He's a great guy, very talented, too.
Yeah,
watching his
great guy.
He knows more about like Apple book publishing than anybody since he's done it for other people, and one of these days I'll be calling him for some work.
He was a lot of fun when I was a kid, I bet. He just was the stereotypical kind teddy bear that could snap the neck of the wrong person.
Was he like uncle? Was he like your uncle from another brother or some kind of a thing? Or?
Well, that's Waddy. Waddy is Unc.
Okay,
I can't take the Unc title away from Waddy.
Gotcha.
But he is definitely like family.
Good. He is a great guy. And when we were doing the Z-Con years ago, I was part of it. We just all got together up in Connecticut and had a show, and it was great fun. And hell. I'd love to get together and do it again sometime, and hopefully by then you'll come out, or who knows, we'll talk sometime. Maybe we'll do the show.
You never know.
You never know how it is. I
World
mean,
of possibilities now.
You know what? It's all fan driven, is what I like about your dad's fans, and you know it too. They're rabid. The people who really dig him, they get it, and they'll drive a long way to hear the music, and they like it. And I just saw the immediate family, and of course, they love to play your dad's stuff, and.
I saw that too. Yeah,
it puts a certain. I just go, all right. The party's started when I hear that song. I've probably played it as many times as they have in my life, but it's one of those. It's a great song, man. The crowd instantly, it just kicks them right in the face. And I think your dad's legacy, it lives every night in some dive bar getting the face kicked off.
Yeah, he had a good share of songs that are pretty fun to play.
Absolutely, and some of them that you go, what in the hell is he doing? Because his chord. I mean, the stuff that he put in there would just confuse the hell out of me.
I've been trying to figure out how to play Don't Let Us Get Sick. Or no, My Shit's Fucked Up.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to figure out what the hell's going on in that song for years.
Yeah, when I'm listening to it tonight, I'll take note of it. And
I can't figure out the tuning. I think that he uses a capo when he plays it live, and then nothing helps me out by the fact that I play right-handed guitars upside down, so it just makes it that much harder to decipher when I watch.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on. I look forward to seeing you. And who knows, if Dad goes to the Hall of Fame, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll call you when I'm up there. We'll see.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's Jordan Zevon.
Thanks, folks. Have a good weekend. Drive safe.
And we're going to have a little break here, and we'll see you in a minute with Memphis Gold. We'll roll it out of here with a little, let's see what we've got here. Where's the brand page? All right, here we go. Off to commercial land. We'll be right back.
For trying to change the system.
All right, all right. Little Leonard Cohen, still to be released. It's like the longest single I've ever worked on in my life. Great photographer too, by the way. Anybody in the New York area, Nancy Kravis promo, she can make anybody look good, and she's really good at that. So I'm gonna have our esteemed guest. We're gonna have Memphis just come on and let's cut the bullshit and get down to the rock and roll. Hey, my friend, how are you?
How you? Man, so glad to be back with you, man.
It's good to see you too, man. You know, you're always in a great, happy spirit. I like that, man. You're just always.
Yeah.
You look like you've lived long enough to know it's the only way to live. Don't let shit get under your skin.
Right.
Do what you do it good, and don't worry about the rest of it.
He said, son, just grin and bear it. That's all you got to do.
That's right. You party and cruise on.
Don't let it get you down.
Yeah, so I've been listening to like all your old stuff this week, and I am just like, oh man, this is great stuff. It is really good stuff, and
Thank you, bro.
I mean, I don't know what to play. Of a lot of it was just so good, and one of them, I queued up one, and this is an old tune. You were a young man, and it's "Big-Legged Woman," the old standard.
Right. Okay.
That's one of my favorite tunes. Like when I was a young white kid. See, in my generation, the blues to some of these kids I went to school with, very wealthy. The blues was like what rap is today.
Yeah.
You know, you might turn your mom, she might be like, I don't know what he's listening to now. It's like, next thing you know, he'd be dancing with black people, you know? and I've grown up with like all that stuff. My mom loved Motown. You know, I grew up in the New York City area, so there was never any of that racial crap that goes on in some places sometimes. You know, New York, as long as you're working, everybody kind of likes you. We don't really care where you come from. It's just
That's right. That's right. Everybody gets along, you know. Can everybody get along? And that's actually, man, that music brought a lot of people. It opened a lot of things up, you know, in the years, especially coming to the last 60s and 70s. You know, a lot of people found out about a lot about themselves and other people. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm glad to be part of that generation myself, man. It's times are changing, and I'm afraid to say what it's gonna be like here pretty soon, you know. But what can you say?
Well, you know, it's amazing to me how many young people are playing the blues nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, there's some young kids who are just unbelievable. It blows me away when I see even some white kid will be sitting there playing, you know, Albert King, and he's tearing it up, and he's like 9 years old. He's like Joe Bonamassa or
Exactly. Well,
I'm going to go ahead and play a little music before we carry on the talk so everybody knows what we're doing here, all right? So we're going to, everybody, just turn up your stereo, all right? Listen to this man play some guitar for you. This is the good stuff. Oh, I got to move Toby. She's in the line. Oh, I can't get to the, I got to move the ad.
okay.
Hide. Now we go. I'll tell you what, I'm sorry, guys, I'm stumbling, but bear with me. Here we go. We're off. All right, so Memphis Gold. It's out of a big-legged woman. My old girlfriend.
You need to hold your own, dress you down. Well. Big leg woman, you need to hold your dress till down. Well, 'cause what you got down there, woman, will make a preacher lay his Bible down. Big leg woman, don't you know I love the way you call my name? Well. Big leg woman, don't you know I love the way you call my name? What you working with down there, woman, just might drive a man like me insane. Big leg woman, you need to hold your dress till down. Well, big leg woman, I think you need to hold your dress till down. What you got down there, woman, will make a bulldog kiss a hound. Oh, yeah. A moment of silence, please. Yes, sir.
God almighty, that was great. I heard that this morning. and just went, wow, I got to play this a couple more times. Put it in my car. That is so good.
Thank you, my
Seriously.
brother.
I mean to tell you that you just tear it up.
Thank you, man.
Ah.
I be trying.
Well, you got the soul. You've written it. You write great stuff. You played. These are like that's the other one was classic. Big legged one, that one. But there's still those songs like Buddy Guy or Freddie King or all these different guitar players. Just like you've got your guitar style is definitely yours. It's so clean and it's just clean as a whistle, man. I love it. You're hitting the notes. It's not like a bunch of too much reverb or any of that crap, man. It's just. I don't know what you use. I'm assuming you have a nice guitar like that G&L and a chord and a nice loud amp, and you just turn it on and do your thing.
That's right, man. All them pedals and all that stuff. Man, I threw a whole set of pedals off the stage one night and said, give me. I don't need this crap, and man, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's. So tell me about in your early career. I know a little bit about your history. You've told me about growing up, but for our fans, just tell us how you got started playing and with your family and all that good stuff.
When I first started, when as far as I can remember, was in this sanctified church, this Pentecostal Holy Ghost movement, which is called the Church of God in Christ, and
Right.
and of course Memphis, Tennessee, which is the kind of like the Holy Grail for the Church of God in Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And believe it or not, I really didn't know that I was around so many people that were going to be famous at that time. I thought they were just my father's friends, like Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah.
And I used to play with this lady, and when I was a little boy, and all I knew is she was.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my friend.
It's okay.
I just accidentally put some of your music and clicked it on. But no, go ahead. So you used to see Sister Rosetta playing?
Yeah, with my dad, because she was born in 1910. Let's put it like that.
Oh, right. She's an old lady.
Yeah. My father was born in 1905, so he was like 5 years older than her. So she was kind of like, during the time, and she used to come to convocation in a place called the Mason Temple, that's the same place that Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right. I'm familiar with the pictures of Memphis and all. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I'll make a long story short. That's every year around November they have this holy convocation. They would come converge on Memphis, and I would always have to be in church 24/24. As a boy, cause my daddy, man, your butt was gonna get whooped if you didn't go to church. You know what I'm saying? Be with him. And then there was this old, this taboo thing about the blues, and you couldn't play blues in the church, and the church couldn't play blues outside. But anyway, but my father had a lot of old friends, and another a friend that he had that I can remember was Reverend Robert Tim Wilkins. He was Robert Tim Wilkins. I used to see him every Sunday. Oh man, every Sunday, and he played with my dad. Well, he was the one that the Rolling Stones got that song "There's No Way to Get Along" called "The Prodigal Son."
Oh, right.
On the Beggar's
Banquet album, yeah.
Banquet album, exactly. Well, this guy, and like I said, those old guys like that were my father's friends. You know what I'm saying? So, but who knows? I was like, that's just Reverend Wilkins. That's my dad's friend. But I never wouldn't have known that when I got into my 30s and 40s, I found out these guys were so instrumental in making American music what it is today. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it is amazing too that I think the blues, all the guys over in England were listening to the blues masters. They never heard anything like it. Neither did all the white kids in America. They didn't know what they were listening to. They used to call it roots music or whatever, the radio stations. And these guys would be out doing payola from like Motown. That was some great music. And the blues, and what was better in that era was you could listen to the radio and hear all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
You might hear then you might hear Jimi Hendrix, you might hear Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
But people had a broader... Now it's so narrow. People, I just like the blues, or I just like jazz, or I just like rock and roll or metal. You have to be diverse to be a musician, I think.
And too, I was also listening to Oh my God, when I was growing up, I was listening to Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and all them cats, you know.
Right. And that stuff's just like a slight turn off to down,
Yeah.
down to the country music. It all evolved in that same era in the
And
Delta.
in general, and like I said, it was a guy. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't know, but it was a it was a black guy up in the Appalachia who him and this guy Bill Monroe used to play together all the time.
Okay.
Bill Monroe, and they learned how to play banjos and guitars. All these people were friends.
Right.
They grew up together. So that's how a lot of American music got started.
Sure. I think, well, even if you look at some of the bands, it's the American dream, hanging in the garage with your friends, making some music, or on a Friday entertaining a party with a bunch of, back when we're young. You remember when we used to get those cabinets, the customs with the foam all over them? And then Lenny Kravitz got rich and bought all the remaining ones and put them on stage for one tour. I'm kidding. But man, it was great. I remember just having the little shitty PA system and playing at parties, and people would come up out of the audience and jam for a while or sing a tune.
Right.
I'd just sit back there. I'd play whoever came through. I'm just
That's-
here.
Well, I tell you, it was amazing guitar players, and there was another guy that was a good friend of my dad's. His name was Elder Utah Smith. It's spelled Utah, and Smith, and he had a song called Two Wings. I got two wings, fly away, two wings, bear my face. And if you look him up, man, I played with this guy quite a lot too. He's an old man in the early 60s now. Like I said,
Wow.
Utah Smith, and man, they would just jump all night. Sometimes people would shout all night, and I would be there with my little bitty. Well, actually, I started playing a mandolin before I even started a guitar. Really,
That was when you were really young. I'm guessing like you're 10, 11. Is that the age you were playing that?
Well, no, I was playing. I was actually playing a mandolin when I was like 5 and 6 years old. I mean,
Very cool.
man, I was playing pretty good at those times.
That's cool. I'd say, your little fingers
Yeah, them little fingers.
back then.
I get my whole hand. Yeah, I get my whole hand around the neck. You know what I mean?
My mom once and some salesman conned her into a sales call.
I think I lost you. I love the blues. Somebody calling in now. I love that blues. Gina Adams. Oh, wait, I'm philosophy on. You got to pull me back in. Yeah, I better know all this, but you can't, They can hear you.
I'm so sorry.
But that's okay, man. It happens.
Yeah, the voodoo gods, man, they hit me like I'm just disappeared. I didn't even do anything this time, Gina. I usually have some technical deficits, but not. Go ahead.
I saw Gina say I like the blues.
She loves the blues.
Uh-huh.
Her and Toby and a few of their other friends out in LA, man, they love all kinds of music, and they're always out. Hell, half of my friends in music that they tell me about. They're literally out there all the time in LA, and
Exactly.
they find some good entertainment. And it's cool. We're all friends now, and
Well, I had to play the Monterey. I had a chance to play the Monterey Blues Festival.
Wow.
2009 or 10, man, and I mean I really enjoyed it with Charlie Sales, a harmonica player. That lot of the harmonica work that you hear on my CDs is a guy named Charlie Sales, and he's from a little place called Woburn, Massachusetts. And man, you would never think that a guy from Woburn, Massachusetts could play the blues like Charlie Sales.
Wow. I mean, you never know, though. I mean, people like Woodshed, I've had it happen. I was in San Francisco once, and a friend of mine, we went to a reggae bar, and they'd never heard me play or anything. And I said, well, I play in a reggae band in Florida, And they were like, oh, yeah, right. Man, you get you some dreadlocks, right? I said, look, I've smoked plenty of weed, so that ought to do something for me. And anyway, I went up and talked to the guys in the band. They let me sit in. And you know how it is when somebody sits in, they're really bad and they're gone in 2 minutes because you just rip through something and thank you very much. You have a nice night and bless your heart, man, and go off. I just hung out with that band. We stayed up till closing time.
Right.
The drummer had a percussion setup, and so I just came in and we just grooved till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it was such a great time. Like it was back in it had to be I'm going to say around 95, 96. And it was just such a great thing. I went to Lucasfilms up there to take a class in mixing.
Okay.
Digital surround and all that stuff was the best time of my life, man. I mean, that was a cool week. But yeah, that kind of music, though, that people, it's a vocabulary thing.
Yeah.
And I think all the styles, some people today say it's cultural appropriation. I don't know. I don't agree. I think it's homage to people that you like. And hi, Mandy. How are you, Mandy?
How you doing?
We're all right.
Nice.
I'm sitting here talking to Memphis just about the blues and various styles that have combined. I was asking him about cultural appropriation. If we are playing the blues and I'm a white guy, is that cultural appropriation? I would say only if I play them really shitty. That's what I think kind of shows. Because to learn to play any style really good, you got to, there's no bullshitting around when you got a spotlight and an audience. You either do or die. And,
That's right.
and and if you don't have the stones to, if you screw up, just plow right on through. You'll never make it.
Well, why don't you?
Well, yeah. Today there's less kids playing music, but I have to ask you, man. You have a youngster? Is he interested in playing music? Does he give it?
Yeah.
Into it?
Yeah, he is. And one of his favorite things to do is beatbox.
No kidding.
And,
That
me
is
and
funny.
him are making songs all the time.
That's great.
All the time, me and him jamming out,
Somebody, I'm echoing. Somebody says, "Sorry, I don't know what's up." So Gina asked a question for you, Memphis. Are you going to be touring, traveling this year?
Well,
You're gone. Hold on.
yeah, 2020 and 21, man, kind of like knocked me dead because this COVID thing going on. But hopefully, I got some gigs coming up at the end of the year. But I'm pretty sure my touring is going to be probably 24 and 25. You know what I mean? 2025.
Right.
Because I got to try to. And when you get older, and I have to do. My wife does all of my booking.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of. If you can get lost in the loop, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to catch up now. And well, actually, the good thing about it is I'm recording more music. Matter of fact, I got, you ever heard of Charlie Musselwhite?
Oh, certainly, man. Killer. Charlie's badass.
He's gonna be on my CD. He's on the CD. He just sent me tracks that he made for about a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And I got also the Dwayne Burnside, R.L. Burnside's sons. They're gonna be on some music that's coming out this year. So I'll have it ready for starting. Have the new music out starting first next year.
Well, I can't wait to actually hear you, and when you get to New York, come out and hang and check out. I love your set, man.
Thank you.
Man. Mandy, you've come in late, so you really didn't get to hear the man. It's not your fault. I'm just saying you got to hear some guitar playing out of this gentleman.
I believe it.
So for everybody out there, I'm going to go ahead and call up another song because I can talk, but I'm going to let Memphis' guitar do the talking. I think you'll enjoy it, people. You hear it okay? Great drummer, man. It's hot. change it up a little bit. Yeah, man. Sure.
People in the cemetery, they all alone. Some have dust, some have bone. Yeah, you know I'd rather be dead, 6 feet in my grave, than to live another day all alone. She said, don't ask no questions, Daddy. I'm going back. I got to go back again. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I got to find me a part-time love.
have mercy. Jesus Christ, that is the shit. I'm like, oh, look what we got going on here. Hold on. We'll stop before we. Oh my God, almighty, that was good. Jesus, God, that is some great stuff.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you, man.
You know, it just kills me how great the tonality out of it. It's just a guitar, and your bass player is just ridiculous, man. Your rhythm section's kicking my ass. I was like, God, these guys are tight as hell, you know? That was really fun.
And the thing about it is, too, they're all about 36 years old. 30, I think the oldest one is like 35. So I'm bringing these guys up in the blues, so you know they can know what's going on with it.
Yeah, well, you know, you got a great thing going on, and hell, I'm going to have to call you back in a few months because I just like listening to you and having you on the show. You're a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Definitely.
Tasty.
And I look forward to a couple of years down the road. And if you pass through the area, you're always welcome. You know, I got a nice house here. You can take a boat into New York. You're always welcome to come hang for a weekend, man. Right? Walk to the beach. I never walk to the beach. I hardly ever go. It's funny. I love looking at it, but actually getting dressed up and going out and getting all sunburnt, I don't know. Work on my studio tan, you know? All right. Well, Mandy, I'm sorry today. You know, I know it got a little weird. You're having a tech thing, but don't worry about it because I don't. You know, I know everybody, bear with us. We got a little hum. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want? If you want it to go away, I'll tell you what you can do. You can join my, I know there's an echo, but you can join my fan club and send us $5 a month. It could save a life, maybe mine, you know?
Yeah.
My mind could be a terrible thing to waste. I don't know. At any rate, let's have a good time, everybody, this weekend. We're out of here, and I'm just trying to get all these lights. They're blinking and stuff. I gotta go. See you, everybody.